Tell me what your purpose is, what makes you get up in the morning. How goes your work with kids, version of yourself that you hide. I wanna strip it bare, reveal your insecurities. You can keep it pure with me.
Earlier this week, I put a question on the community tab of the channel, and I asked y'all if you had no pressure from bills or money, what your dream is, what you would do with all that time. Y'all had some very interesting answers, and I figured I'd talk about them and add context on the categories that y'all answered the most often and some of the more unexpected responses, but also just speak to each one of them. I don't know if anybody will like this. I don't have a script. I'm kind of just going off the top, so y'all let me know. Oh, before I get into it, there's a lot of overlap in all these. Travel was the most frequent, like everybody wanted to travel. So you'll see those sprinkled in other comments and other sections. Just ignore it. And some of them are categorized in both, really, but I had to make a decision. And also, the comments are going to be on screen. I know that's distracting if I'm also talking. So I encourage y'all to pause, take your time, read it, and rejoin the conversation. The career category is interesting because I asked y'all what you would do without the pressures of bills and money. And some of y'all wanted to do a job. And honestly, I can relate to that. I have the kind of fixation at times to just do something because it's interesting to me. It's interesting to think about what a job is once you take away the money aspect of it. I think for most of our jobs, they become pointless. I know in my case, my day job is and has been tabulating how much money a company made last week from their marketing campaigns. Week over week metrics and month over month metrics, year over year, and thinking of new ways to advertise things like TV shows and media that gets more people to download an app. Without money, like without the driving force behind that, I don't know what the point is. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I like all the shows that I've marketed or have been a part of advertising. It's just a job, you know? I think there's some pretty cool jobs in here. I like that I saw a voice actor more than once. Stand-up, my favorite, hands down, has to be blacksmith. That's the most old-timey ass career, but it's cool. Like, it's a cool thing to want to do. So shout out to you. Community service and activism. This also encompasses all the comments that were to the effect of I want to teach, right? Because that is a service to your community. I often think that the only reason life is worth living is if we can find something that gives back to the rest of society. Otherwise, what's the point of this like flash in the pan 70 to 80 years we spent on this planet, right? What's the point? Humans have been around forever as far as my lifespan goes, but a blip as far as the lifespan of the earth. We're here and then we're gone. And I don't know what y'all believe as far as the afterlife and reincarnation and all that, but personally, I'm not holding my breath for another chance at this life thing. So I decided a long time ago that I was just going to go for everything that made sense to me. And on the other side of that, try my best to do everything ethically and morally and give back as much as I can while I do these things. If you're not giving back to the next generation, what was the point in you being here? My dad likes to quote, I don't know who he's quoting when he says this, about the dash between your birth date and your death date. That dash contains everything that is significant about your life. And it's up to you to define what your dash is, what it stands for, and what it means. And to me, that is the whole idea of legacy wrapped up in one statement. What is your dash? I consider what I'm trying to do with this channel to be community service. I don't have to research this hard. I don't have to go out of my way to be accurate in everything I say. Most YouTubers don't. And sometimes people don't even watch, but I know that somebody got something out of it. I think the comment about baking meals for stray animals is one of my favorites. And also the one about healthcare. I think healthcare is one of the biggest and most persistent problems that most Americans have, because every American has to interact with the healthcare system at some point. And for the millions of people without insurance and the ones who won't have insurance in the years to come, it's the most serious thing that they'll ever have to deal with, right? Also, shout out to the world traveling trash pickup guy and the librarian. There was actually like 3 people that work at libraries. That's fire. Libraries made me who I am. I devoured books when I was younger. My mom and dad influenced me to read as much as I can and take in as much information as I can. And I wouldn't be making these videos. I wouldn't be researching. I wouldn't be doing what I do without first being a book nerd and being in an accelerated reader program and writing English essays and AP English. All of that led to what I do now, which is essentially fancy presentations with some filmmaking touches added. We had a few in exercise and sports, but a lot of people that touched on just being more active. I'm off and on with my physical activity. Like, I genetically was passed down a pretty resilient physique in that I don't have to work that hard to stay looking like this. So what that means is that while I didn't have to work out as much to maintain or to lose weight, I still had my own insecurities. I've never been quite as big as I wanted to be. I used to have a bird chest. It grew out as I got older a little bit, so I'm not as insecure about that anymore. But for a long time, that was my main insecurity, was that I was just not big enough for my frame. I'm 6'2", so being on the skinny side can make you self-conscious. I've never been hiking. Like, I've walked on mountains and trails and whatnot, but not, backpack, boots, gear. I've never done any of that. I know I'm missing out. Nature is dope. I really do enjoy being outside, as y'all see, but in my own way. Funny quick story that's completely irrelevant. I was shooting a promo video at Stone Mountain here in Georgia, and it was like the crack of dawn. And there was a moment where we were out there like adjusting the camera between shots, and I looked over to my right, and there were these big boulders that looked over the river that we were shooting next to, and the boulder on that side of me had just a pair of glowing eyes on top of it. And as the light started to filter in more, I saw the body attached to those eyes, and it was the biggest mountain lion I have ever seen. I did not know mountain lions even lived in this state, but that was a big cat. Like, I swear to God, I was with this indie artist that I was shooting with, and I just like tapped him. I was just like, yo, like as quietly as I could. And we just backed away while still facing them slowly. Because the one thing I do know about big cats is if you turn your back to them, you are dinner. Hobbies. Oh, thank you. I love this question too. I had a lot of hobbies growing up, but as y'all can see, I monetized quite a few of my hobbies. Really, what I'm doing now is a combination of my love for film, which developed after my love for music, both of which I turned into careers. And I drew when I was a kid. I'm a Photoshop kind of like, I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I'm definitely a savvy user of Photoshop. So everything I was good at eventually over the years, like decade plus, turned into a combination of skills that evolved into this. But y'all had some really interesting hobbies. I saw sewing, golf, What else? What else? Genealogy, like documenting your family's history. That's really dope. More than one person said that. That's unique. Cooking, a barista. I don't even drink coffee, but that's what's up. A lot of people do, and I'm sure everybody would love you in your neighborhood. This is my favorite one in this section, a perfumer. Runner up is farming alpaca. That's funny because I'm thinking about Emperor's New Groove, even though that was a llama. I think alpacas are they Peruvian? I don't know. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. I have no script, so I didn't research that. Painting. A lot of y'all said video games, which I'm putting within hobbies, unless you want to be a esports professional or something like that. A lot of y'all said music. Before most of y'all ever met me, I was a rapper for a long time, like years. And I had some successes. I had songs on TV shows and performed at some festivals, but nothing massive. I'm not like trying to pretend that I was anything big at any point, but I was hustling pretty hard on that side of things for a long time trying to make it work. And that's how I discovered shooting music videos and the art of creating music videos and putting visuals to my vision and trying to make that something that's compelling and tell a story within that led to what I'm doing now. I think what's beautiful about music is that it's almost universal. Everybody, almost everybody loves some kind of music, whether it's something obscure that I've never heard before or I just never heard it because I don't live in that country. There's so many types of music, and what's crazy about it is the thing you hate, just like food, could be the thing that somebody else loves more than anything else, and that keeps them going and motivates them for the day and makes them want to achieve things. And I think that's dope. Love what you love, man. Music is one of the best things that humans have helped refine. We didn't introduce it to the world. These birds are evidence of that. But we definitely made it sing. We had one person say they'd be a musicologist, and that's a different angle on it, but it's just as dope. It's like the genealogy pursuit of documenting everything and preserving it. That's fire. I think we need more people like you. Reading and writing. We've had people say they would read novels and study philosophy. We had people just saying they go back to school in general, like perpetually, and just be a student forever. And I think that's really cool. We have people with a lot of passion for writing, like writing for TV shows, writing books. Obviously, I'm a fan. I've written scripts for most episodes that you've seen on this channel. And sometimes I'm just off script, like today. But in general, I think what it does, beyond making YouTube videos, I think it helps you process your thoughts, think about your world on a deeper level, and reflect on what you think, reflect on who you are, what the world looks like around you, document that, preserve that for later on so you can reflect on what you thought when you were younger and what the type of person you were, right? I think that's dope. That's just me though. And yeah, I don't think anybody should feel bad about the urge to go back to school. Learning is really dope when it's not surrounded by the pressure of parents' expectations and student loans and what you're going to do afterwards. Like, writing is one of the more powerful things we have because everything comes back to storytelling, marketing, selling, everything that most of these companies do. They either tell stories or they turn to creators and influencers to tell their story for them. Travel. I love the explorers of old angle to this response. That's fire. Got me thinking about ancient African countries, rulers, and the Mayans and shit like that. Traveling and going to concerts all the time. That's a fire twist. I haven't been to a lot of concerts, which is ironic, I guess. I've performed in some, but when I choose to go to concerts, it's to support my like all-time favorite artists. So I'm very picky with the concerts I go to. But I have gone to festivals where there's a bunch of artists performing a few times, like Afropunk, and I definitely enjoyed that. I want to go to uh, more diverse festivals. I want to go to more electronic music festivals. I've been to one Flume show, Australian DJ, crazy fire. I loved that concert, and I can't wait to go back to more DJs and just taking in the experience. I don't think I've talked about this a lot, but in middle school, I lived in the UK, and my dad is was an Air Force Chief Master Sergeant. He's still alive. He's just not in the Air Force anymore. Video. So this encompasses the filmmakers, the aspiring YouTubers, streamers, people who want to take their vision and make something out of it. Obviously, this is what I do, and I found the love in it because looking through a camera changes your world. It makes everything around you take on a different shape, and you gain appreciation for nature and the world and buildings and people. I've color graded so many people's skin tones at this point that my appreciation for just how things look as they are is different, and I see everything as a potential shot or an angle I can get if I was filming this right now. To the point where I don't really pull my cell phone out as much as some other people do. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just I'm thinking about how I can best frame it and tell a story with what I'm currently looking at, if that makes sense. I love this comment about traveling around and creating an anthology of people's lives. And I love hearing about other people's passions, jobs, no matter how boring they think it is. I think it's the coolest shit in the world. For anybody aspiring to do what I do, I'm not gonna make a whole 10 tips on how to be a YouTuber. Like, that's corny, and I have no desire to put myself out there as some kind of expert. And so after my first year, what I have to reflect on is that I have a much more secure idea of who I want to be and what I want to say. And so all I'll say, if I can give any advice, is to start with a strong idea of who you want to be in this space. You don't have to have it all figured out when you start, but you should be headed in the direction of something you're passionate about. The last category is just live, just exist. Probably my favorite for sure because I often talk about, like to my girlfriend, to people who I know, the fact that we have to work just like nonstop for presumably our entire lives just to survive and be able to live the rest of our years in peace. Like it's a messed up system that we've set up for ourselves. And I think the coolest thing that we can aspire to do is to just be. And that doesn't mean that any of the other responses are not valid. We're all different people. But I think to a degree, everybody wants the freedom to just be able to find out who the hell I am without the pressure of having to go to a 9 to 5, without having to commute, without having to sweat, do manual labor, whatever your job is, pour over spreadsheets and go through data like mine. I feel like all of us want to know who we'd be without money being a significant factor that drives us every day. And these responses got to the heart of that, and I appreciate that. Some of y'all just said like play in the dirt. That's fire. Like we got to hold on to our inner child. I know other people who have a better touch with their inner child than me. I'm glad I never let go of creating, because that is my inner child. That's me reaching out to the universe to express who I am and get my ideas out and get my frustrations out and my joy and all these things. Whether that's going into the mountains to get away from everybody on purpose, or surrounding yourself with people and family and community and love. There are no wrong answers because everybody's different and everybody's mission, goal, preferences are different. I want to thank y'all for giving me the ability to have one of my jobs come as close to my dream or my passion as possible. It's a privilege that I do not take for granted. And as much as I complain about all the other aspects of my life and the work I've had to do to turn myself into the person I'm becoming and how hard this road is sometimes, I couldn't do anything I'm currently doing without your support. These comments, that's love. That's my community. Y'all. So thank you for being here. And for each and every one of y'all who commented or didn't comment, pursue your dream. Life is entirely too brief for any other plan than that, in my opinion. For those that might be a little bit down and out with the realities of life and how hard it can get sometimes, I'll say this: there will never be another you. So make sure that if somebody goes over the story of your life, that at least one page makes them stop and reread.
Hey, look, carbon fiber on my heart cause I've been hurt a lot. Met you outside of Caesars, walking the Vegas Strip. I've been taking trips, recovering via bourbon shots. I don't usually drink, not fond of the taste, need hydration. Hydrogen plus oxygen, linking up for Saturday morning tea. Tried to close your door to key, been in my hands. I've been trying to see friends. If you rolling with me, I can book the suite in advance.